Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of the East Pittsburgh Fitness Podcast. I'm your host Jeremiah Rowe, head strength coach at Case Specific Wellness and Case Specific Athletics in Plum, Pennsylvania. We specialize in individualized sports performance and personal training for everyone from the average Joe to elite athletes. And you can learn more about us at www.casespecificwellness.com or on any of our social medias for Case Specific Wellness or Case Specific Athletics. Today's episode, and I'm super excited about this. I have been eagerly waiting to post this podcast for the last week or two. We have a sponsor. So today's episode is brought to you by Hand X Band. Now, Hand X Band is a company that I came across back in 2014 at a fitness expo that I was competing at. And the primary product that this company came out with is a band to train the extensors of your hand. And that product is the Hand X Band itself. I would describe that product as sort of a silicone resistance band with loops, with 5 loops in it for your fingers, right? So if you took off a silicone wristband and you put it around your fingers at the very tips, and it has little loops to hold your fingers in place, and then you try to expand out with your fingers against that band. So the point of that product is if you think anytime, especially for us meatheads, if you're going to the gym, you're lifting weights all the time or playing sports where you're holding onto a racket, holding onto a stick, a bat, anything like that, we're always gripping. We're always squeezing our hand, making a fist, and what you'll find over time is that overdevelopment of those muscles that flex and clench that hand leads to issues because it's not being coupled with antagonistic training of the muscles that do the opposite or extend your hand out. And if you think about it, there's not a lot of things. Actually, prior to this product, I couldn't think of anything that was used for training extension of your hand and pulling your fingers apart instead of squeezing them all together. And so that's where this product came in. It's awesome for people with tennis elbow. It's really good for kind of balancing out the musculature of your lower arm and helping to alleviate that pain and tension that comes along with overdevelopment of one group of muscles and not another. And since that product has come out years and years ago, they have expanded the product line. It's all still under the title of Hand X Band, but they now have blood flow resistance bands, which I've used before for creating a horrendously awesome muscle pump, getting a little bit of extra blood flow in your arms and your legs, and really just getting a crazy, crazy pump from that. If you haven't tried that before, I do highly recommend that. There's a lot of scientific research behind that. We're not going to get into the details of that today, but they have those. And what actually brought me back to the company itself is they started a line of normal looped resistance bands. Now, for those of you who might have read my article where I wrote about my recommended at-home fitness equipment, I recommended in there that loop, they call them pull-up assist resistance bands, are an awesome asset for you to have at home. There's a million exercises you can do with it. And I recommended a specific brand in there. And having met the owner of Hand X Band years ago, he actually reached out to me after I posted the article and said, hey, our company has these bands as well, and they're made by the same manufacturer as the ones that you recommended in this article. So I checked out the bands for myself. They're awesome, great products, different resistances, which I like. They have a color coding from easy to heavy resistance that's consistent between not only their resistance bands but also the hand bands. So it's all the same. Orange is the lightest, light blue is next, a slightly darker blue, and then a navy blue is the heaviest band. And like I said, that's consistent across the entire product line. But needless to say, that is my new recommended product for bands. That's what we are going to be using exclusively at Case Specific Wellness and for myself and my own training. And you can get those at www.handxband.com. That's just hand, the letter X, band. And if you get a couple products, anything you would like in your cart, and you use the code JROW at checkout, you're going to get 15% off of that order, which everyone likes a little bit of a discount on anything. I know I sure as heck do. And so go check that out, guys, handxband.com, JRobe for 15% off. And let's get into today's podcast. I am unfortunately back to the phone interview setup for this since we are still under lockdown. And so I talked to Stacie on the phone. We have a recording of that conversation, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about what brought her to Case Specific and what her experience has been so far with her training, which is for sports performance, for endurance bicycle racing, which is pretty awesome. It's a fun conversation. We have a good time, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. All right. After an extensive amount of audio issues on my end, we are here today with Stacie Truszkowsi. I am saying that correctly, right?
That's really good, yes.
This I would call Stacie my client with the most difficult to pronounce last name, hands down, or even difficult to spell, we could say too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I would have been really embarrassed if I messed that up on the podcast, and we would have had to re-record this for sure. But we survived the name, and we're about to survive the rest of this podcast as long as the audio situation holds up. For those of you listening, if the audio quality is bad, unfortunately we're still in quarantine, and so I'm back to the free conference calling app that I use to record these podcasts when I have to interview someone. So I apologize. I hope it's not so bad that you shut off the podcast. But I think Stacie and I are going to have a really fun discussion today, and that you guys are going to get a lot out of. So Stacie, leading this off, give the listeners a little backstory on you.
On me. I am an administrative assistant. I work for Pitt. I'm a pretty active person in general. I am a dog and cat mom, and I have been working out with Jeremiah since January. Yeah.
Has it only been since January?
Yeah, I think I met you
That's
in
crazy.
December. I think I met you in December. I think we started over my Christmas break because I get that awesome 2-week Christmas break from Pitt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, nice little gap there. So yes, Stacie is, I guess we'll start off on a fun note with the cat and dog mom. Her dog Toby is quite a character. He likes to join us on Stacie's workouts. If any of you didn't know, Case Specific Wellness is a very dog-friendly facility. And if you follow us on social media, I'm sure you've seen it. But we do like to keep dogs around all the time. Actually, my dog, Paisley, is sitting under my desk wondering why I'm not paying attention to her right now. But Toby is quite a character.
Yeah, he is. He keeps me, he definitely keeps me active. So, yeah. Yes,
that's important. And you certainly don't have a hard time staying active as it is. I know through the winter there, you told me a couple times about riding your bike to work on days, one day in particular where I literally couldn't come in to the gym because my car couldn't make it up an icy hill. And you tell me later that you rode your bike to work that day.
Yeah, I try to ride year-round, and sometimes it's more fun and interesting to ride to work on those days, specifically because I can ride my mountain bike, and cars are having trouble getting around, and I can kind of just scoot around. And I cut through the parks in the city, Frick and Shenley, and so it definitely makes it more fun.
Yeah, you have a little bit better scenery and a little less stop and go than a lot of the people in that Pittsburgh traffic, I imagine.
Yeah.
I'm glad I get to stay outside of that for the most part. The little traffic that we have around here I like to complain about, but it certainly is not anything like being in the city.
It's true.
But, hey, I mean, you hop on the bike and you weave right around it. I love it. And I guess that's a good transition here as far as how you came to us. And I'll let you talk about that a little bit, because I know you started out, obviously, with Andrew on the nutrition side of things, but you ended up coming into case-specific wellness to train with me. I'll let you go ahead and you can discuss that a little bit and let everybody know how you got started.
Okay. So I got started with Andrew, I believe it was 2000. End of 2017, I was hit by a car, and so I spent like December and January kind of feeling sorry for myself because I really couldn't ride my bike and wasn't really doing my best at watching what I was eating, and have some friends in the cycling community that have used Andrew, and so I thought it might be a good place to just kick back, just do a total reboot of, if I'm going to, I had to wait a period of time before I was allowed to start riding outside, but once I did, I figured I should just, start off the right way. So I started seeing Andrew, and just baby steps. Like, as athletes, we know what we're doing, but sometimes it's about holding us accountable, which, I like to do one big event a year. And so Andrew and I kind of work with my eating on the events, because they're all-day events. I'm out there for a long time, so I know what I'm doing. Sometimes it just helps to have him remind me of what has worked in the past, or remind me of things that I don't think of. And so this year my event is supposed to be in September, and it's a really big race in Michigan, and there is a 60% DNF rate, which is do not finish. So Andrew and I were talking about it, and he said it might not be bad to start working out with Jeremiah, or at least get a consultation. And, it's been a long time since I've had any one-on-one training. I've definitely worked out with in groups with a trainer, and that was once a week, and that was all of us. But to it didn't hurt to meet with you and just see what the options were. So yeah, I met with you in December. Yeah. So it's been 4.5 months here. Yeah. And in case anybody didn't get that, Stacie does endurance mountain biking races, and you did what was it? Was it the Race Across America a few years ago? Yeah, in 2014. That was the first year I started doing I guess endurance type races. It was the year my friend and I were turning 40, so we formed a team and rode our bikes across the United States.
And what was the start and end destination on that, and what was the timeline for it?
Started in Oceanside, California, and we finished in Annapolis, Maryland, and we did it in 7 days, 7 hours, and 15 minutes.
Oh, I love it that you have it down to the minute. I love it.
We did it like leapfrog style too. So, I mean, when you do an event like that, it's not something that you're easily going to forget, because the following year I did a half Ironman, and it took me 6 hours and 43 minutes. So, yeah, those are things you don't forget when it's something that, has a big impact on you. And, it's when you can walk away with thinking it was a great experience and you remember things like that, it makes you think, I need to do that again. How can I do it better? So.
Absolutely. Always striving for that progress, and that, which is what kind of brought you in here, looking for that next step with Andrew, and then looking to continue that a little bit more beyond what he was able to give you in the nutrition side of things. So let me then ask you, what so far, I know it hasn't been super long, it's only been 4.5 months, and we've had a little bit of a hiatus because of this pandemic, but your overall experience training here with me, what are your thoughts? Give them to me honest.
I know you probably learned really fast that I can be a little opinionated, and
that doesn't sound like you at all.
Maybe a little stubborn, but no, I love working out. Like, I love it. It makes me feel so good, and working out with you, granted, like, you have a completely different style than what I was ever used to, because I've worked out with a lot of different people, like whether it be like workout partners or like with a trainer or whatever. You have a different style. So it was me getting out of my head and reminding myself that you're the boss of me for that hour. When I get there, I need to just do what you say. And I really enjoyed it, because you kind of put me in a different thinking. And I know the first month was, 2 sets of different workouts. And then the second month, it was like a little different. Like, it was like, it's not like heavy lifting, but it's intense. And when I could see difference riding my bike, it made me super excited. So the second month was really where I started noticing the change, and I just I loved it. Like, it like made me hungry for more. So
fantastic.
There you go.
There, I said some nice things about you. You're welcome.
No,
I will say. You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say, as a trainer, sometimes you just go through different mindset shifts where, for a while, you kind of feel like, I don't know if what I'm doing is right. Should I be doing something better? Is there something I don't know? And it's always, always, always so rewarding whenever someone tells you, like, for you felt an improvement riding your bike. Like, when someone tells me that what they've been doing with me in the gym is translating well into their sport, or even their activities of daily living, the things they do throughout the day, they're noticing that they can get up out of bed easier or get off the couch easier. For certain populations, that's a challenge. And it's always so reassuring and so rewarding to hear that positive change is happening, as a result of what's going on in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I sent you some of my rides after my rides, and just about how good I felt, and it lists like PRs, like personal bests on segments and things like that. And there was just, a couple rides where I just was out there just feeling so good, and I was getting excited. It's like it's rewarding,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's exactly why you're here. That's the goal at the end of the day, is to make you a better, quicker, more efficient bike rider. And that's something that always cracked me up whenever you did come to me, because I know that your training prior to coming here was definitely more upper body focused. And it always cracked me up as a cyclist that your focus was on the upper body, which I guess I can understand. Back when I was playing ice hockey, I never lifted legs because I was always on the ice. And so I said, I'm training my legs enough, But, Stacie liked to lift upper body. I know you came in and you were repping out chin-ups, no problem. And I'm like, what's up with this? And then I think we had you doing squats with a bar, and you were flipped out because of all the weight. I'm like, You can
Yeah.
do sit-ups, but you're afraid of doing a barbell, empty bar squat.
Not empty, but as you were like adding the weight, I'm like, I don't really think I need that much weight. And then I had to again remind myself that I'm not the boss.
I love it. Jeremiah's the boss for that hour.
Yes.
All right. Well, so we've seen some measurable results. You said you're hitting new personal bests on the bike. That's awesome. You're coming from a big life event with that crash, getting hit by a car, and you got back on the bike, we're riding again consistently. How do you feel that the training has improved your life and made it just made you feel better overall, even aside from just biking?
It definitely, and this is, I feel like I don't have, like, I'm not like this. I'm not great at talking about myself because I don't feel like so super self-confident in things. But when I'm on the bike and I'm feeling good and like it's the whole thing. It makes me feel confident. Like I'm going to finish this race in September. I'm going to do this. This is what, like, I'm putting in the work, maybe not just all work on the bike, but on my body to help me get to that end point. So it's a good feeling. It's like, and it's, it's all about the whole thing. It's nice to go there, take my dog and work out and just kind of like be social, which is, why sometimes like things that are happening like this are hard because we're not social. But everything about like our twice a week meetings they were just good. Nice to be, working out and being told what to do. So
a little mindless. Just do what I say and then don't even think about it.
Yeah.
She does like to think about it enough to just argue with me a little bit about the amount of weight that she's doing, but I expect that of all of my clients. And if they're not complaining, I must not be doing my job.
Right.
That's what I would say. All right, well, I love it. We're getting a little bit of self-confidence built up. We will work on transferring that into daily life as well, not just whenever you're on the bike. But I usually do leave that more up to Andrew because he's better than me at that, I will say. But moving forward from that, Stacie, I hope there's not a lot of people listening that have also been hit by a car while riding a bike. But there are other people who struggle with the same things that you struggle, whether that is self-confidence or kind of getting in that bit of a funk with their nutrition or not feeling their best. What advice could you give them to help them make the positive changes that they need to make their lives improve as well?
So the one, like, this is going to like sound crazy, but I knew when I was visiting you or first meeting you that it was going to be an expense, maybe something I wasn't thinking that I was, going to be doing. But I thought of it as, your income tax check or whatever. That's like, some people use it for vacations or, like purchasing a big thing. But I took it as like, I knew that the money I was spending was going to be coming from that, and it was my investment in me. And I think if you can think of, like, there's so many little things that you could be putting, like, money in a jar instead of getting that extra coffee, and, like, saving up. Like, I'm a saver, so I try to save money towards something like that because I think you're worth it because it makes it that it's me worth it. Like, put yourself first. And know, if you're spending money on yourself, but you're gonna feel so much better. You're gonna come out feeling, maybe more confident. Like if you want to have so many pull-ups you want to do. I can do 8.
Yeah.
Or push-ups, squats, or whatever. It's hard to rationalize sometimes, but you're worth it, And I had to tell myself that, I might be spending this money, but I'm worth it. If I'm putting all of this money into a bike race that I want to finish, I'm worth it to put the preparation and the time and the effort into myself by visiting you. So that might be my advice.
I love it. You have your long-term goals or even your short-term goals, and you are just seeing it as another step toward accomplishing that goal to the best that you are physically capable of doing. And then, like you said, it's just an investment. It's an investment. We are diversifying your portfolio. That's what a coach says.
Yeah.
Your physical portfolio that is you is being diversified.
Yes,
I love it.
I agree. You and Andrew are. It's great to have both of you guys in my within my reach. Like Andrew emailed me yesterday. I haven't emailed him back, but just to know he's checking on me. It's kind of just another the angel on my shoulder reminded me, what it's all within my reach. Reach for the proper thing or don't reach for the, chips that I reach for. But with you on my shoulder, I ordered the bands. They came on Friday and I used them. They're really super hard, but I'm like, oh my God, I love these things. So,
I love it. With you, I spend more money on other stuff because you tell me to buy things. Yeah.
No, I mean.
Well, good. I'm glad they're working out for you so far.
They were very inexpensive, and I think they'll be a great tool to have. Just even after, our second month, we did all those leg things with those bands. So that's what I did. I've done those twice so far.
Good.
So, yeah.
You're keeping in the back of your mind the things that we do. That's important. Because at the end of the day, I want you to be self-sustaining with this, but I want you to enjoy coming to the sessions enough that you don't feel you want to go out on your own, even if you can.
Yeah.
I rope you in.
I'd like to be too.
Well, that's awesome. Stacie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I know it wasn't the first thing that would come to your mind for something that you desire to do, but I do appreciate you making the personal sacrifice to chat with me and tell your story a little bit. Because I'll be completely honest with you. Whenever I started this podcast, I had completely forgotten about the car crash thing. And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, my God, I remember that now. That's going to make this podcast 10 times better. From car crash to biking animal.
Yeah.
Baby steps, that's it.
And I hope me on your podcast maybe reaches a couple people that were thinking about it but holding back. And, I hope they take the step.
Absolutely.
It's worth it.
Well, we'll make sure Stacie has told them what to do. You were the boss of these 30 minutes to run this podcast. All right. Well, for those of you listening, if you have not checked out Case Specific Wellness, you can find us at www.casespecificwellness.com. Andrew, who we mentioned quite a few times during this podcast, is the CEO of Case Specific Nutrition and the entire Case Specific brand. You can find them at www.casespecificnutrition.com. And we can also be found on Instagram. The Wellness Center where we train is at CSW Center, and my sports performance and personal training Instagram can be found at CS Athletics. And both of those are on Facebook as well. You can find all that stuff there. I thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of the East Pittsburgh Fitness Podcast. I hope you guys are surviving and staying healthy in the pandemic quarantine that we are currently stuck in. As always, remember that it's temporary, and I hope you guys all tune in 2 weeks to hear episode 4. Stacie, thank you again, and you guys all have a great day.